Santo Tomas University, Jap prison camp, opens its gates to 3,700 internees. Hard-driving American forces sweeping the enemy from Manila free men, women, and children held prisoners during the 3 years of Jap occupation. One of General MacArthur's first missions is to call upon the happy internees. The American Army moves in. Signal Corps cameras record the happy day. During the general's visit, Jap forces still in the city train their guns on the university. Many of the helpless internees were wounded by the enemy's fire. Of those liberated, the adults show all signs of malnutrition. Mothers and fathers fed their children most of the meager rations furnished by the enemy. Fuel for cooking and warmth is very scarce, but these undernourished heroes find strength to complete their tasks. Some of the people live in thatched huts, and now, with the addition of American Army food, their lot is more cheerful. One of the finest things about freedom is news from home. The Red Cross, serving our unhappy people held by the enemy in all parts of the world, handles messages from friends and relatives in the United States. Red Cross field workers are nearly overwhelmed by the crowd, eager to have word of the homeland to which they will soon return in glory. Geneva, Switzerland, is the nerve center of the International Red Cross, where packages for prisoners of war are channeled to Allied soldiers in enemy prison camps. This is one of the many good things your dollar does when you contribute to the Red Cross. Help send these life-saving packages to our boys. At Geneva, an elaborate filing system assures that each Allied prisoner will receive his package. Returning prisoners have said they wouldn't have been able to exist without them. By the trainload, the packages go regularly to each man in every prison camp. The Red Cross drive is on. Is there any better reason for contributing than this? On the heels of a real old-fashioned winter, ice-packed rivers have gone on a rampage. The Rocky River near Cleveland shows what ice and currents can do when they combine forces. Many families were evacuated from the area. Along the Susquehanna near Columbia, Pennsylvania, houses were crushed and the city's water supply menaced when its pumping plant was covered by 5 feet of water. At the crucial moment, the jam was broken and the ice began moving with what river engineers described as amazing speed. The breakup comes just in the nick of time. A few more days and increased hardship would have descended on many river towns. Reaching for the sky is familiar business to these 83-foot mighty midgets of the Coast Guard. They performed nobly in the English Channel, rescuing hundreds of downed airmen. Now they're tackling patrol service on the broad Atlantic, and protecting America's shoreline is no less rugged. Just to make it a little tougher, sub-zero temperatures and howling winds coat the little craft in a sheathing of ice, as these Coast Guard pictures show. But that hasn't kept them from hunting prowling submarines winter and summer. Even Old Glory takes a beating when Neptune and gales gang up on craft of the Flea Fleet and the doughty lads who man them. On his return to America following the Big Three conference at Yalta, President Roosevelt reports to the American people.
There were 2 main purposes in this Crimea conference. The first was to bring defeat to Germany with the greatest possible speed with the smallest possible loss of Allied men. That purpose is now being carried out in great force. The second purpose was to continue to build the foundation for an international accord that would bring order and security after the chaos of the war, that would give some assurance of lasting peace among nations of the world. The defeat of Germany will not mean the end of the war against Japan. On the contrary, we must be prepared for a long and costly struggle in the Pacific. That the unconditional surrender of Japan is as essential as the defeat of Germany. I say that advisedly with the thought in mind that that is especially true if our plans for world peace are to succeed. The Japanese militarism must be wiped out as thoroughly as German militarism. I hope in our history, and therefore in the history of the world, there will soon be presented to the Senate and the American people a great decision that will determine the fate of the United States, and I think therefore the fate of the world, for generations to come. There can be no middle ground here. We shall have to take the responsibility for world collaboration, or we shall have to bear the responsibility for another world conflict. And I am confident that the Congress and the American people will accept the results of this conference as the beginnings of a permanent structure of peace, upon which we can begin to build, under God, that better world in which our children and grandchildren, yours and mine, the children and grandchildren of the whole world, must live and can live.